Hello everybody, this is Sherry at djsundry.blogspot.com, and today we're going to make something kind of fun. We are going to make a postage holder. Now, what do I mean by a postage holder? Well, when I say a postage holder, what I mean is something to put postage in for a swap. I participate in swaps, as you know, and then part of that responsibility is when I mail my, say it's my tags, when I mail my tags to the hostess that's hosting the swap, then I include the amount of postage that it will cost to get the other tags that are being swapped out back to me. And so someone in one of the swap groups that I'm in on Facebook, and that's called Just Us Crafty Girls, had found a video on YouTube, and I'll put a link in the little doobly-doo thing down below. I'll put a link in there and show you the one that I originally watched. Now, I've not watched it in a few weeks. I don't know whether mine is like hers or not. I can't remember. But this is one that I just kind of came up with. And then I can include it in the swaps. And then when they send me my tag back, they can send it back and I can include it in the next swap. So I'm going to be showing you two different ones that I came up with tonight and how I made them. One is if you don't have any cutting devices. And what I mean by cutting devices, obviously you're going to need scissors or a paper cutter or something. The other one I actually used my Cricut for, and I'll show you how easy that was. Now, I decided the size that I wanted was the size of a gift card holder because of a gift card, because I figured if it was the size of a gift card, you could pretty much put whatever postage, whether you were using stamps or whether you were putting a little actual return postage thing in it, or if you were including cash, whatever, it would slide right in there. So I thought that's a good size. So I based this whole thing off of that. So let's set my card aside. And to start with, I have a piece of paper. This is paper from K & Company. And I went through my scraps. Everything that I'm making here today was made using scraps. I did play with some scrap paper, even some typing paper, to come up with my pattern. And then on my other one, I found some cheaper paper because I didn't want to waste my good paper while I was trying to figure out how to do it with a Cricut. So this one is 4.5 inches wide this way. And it's 6 and I have it written down. It's 4 3/4 inches wide this way. I'm sorry, 4 3/4 by 6.5. Now I've made this little template here, and let's just set our paper aside. And now you can see it's 6.5 inches from end to end, and then it's 4 1/4 inches from side to side. And then I've done all where I want to score. So I'm just going to pull my little scoreboard, and it's a little bit smaller. Well, it might work because I changed the size. We'll see. So we're going to start on this size. So this is the 6.5 inch size. And so for this size, I'm going to score it at 2 inches. And then I'm going to score it again at 4 3/4 inches. Just like that. So it was big enough. Then I'm going to turn it the other direction, and I'm going to score at a 1/2 inch in, just like so. And then on this side, I'm going to score it at 4 1/4 inches, just like that. And so then I've got all my score marks. Now this is going to be the inside of my holder. This is going to be the outside because I love this side. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my bone folder and just do my crease marks, just so I have a nice crisp crease. And I'm going to do that on all 4 sides, just like that. This is really super simple. I was really surprised. Once I had come up with the pattern, it was really easy to do. So now I'm done with my scoreboard. I may need my bone folder again, but now I'm going to cut the corners out. And what do I mean by cutting the corners out? I'm going to cut in on that 1/2 inch mark to where each line comes together, so that I have each corner cut out. And that's why you see on here how I have kind of a different shape, because I've cut in on each corner. And so that's the next step. Really simple, simple, simple. And anybody can do this. You don't have to have a special cutting machine. You don't even have to have a scoreboard. You could use as long as you have a paper cutter, you could use your paper cutter to do your score lines. A scoreboard is nice, and I really am thankful that I have one, but it's not necessary. So now we have this kind of rectangular sheet of paper. Now I thought, just to add interest, we could fold it here, but to add just an interesting look to it and also to cut back a little bit of the bulk, what I want to do is I want to cut a little corner out of each of these. Now, if you are really particular, you are welcome to measure these. I decided when I was doing it, this is just how it gets, and I'm just going to go with the way I'm just eyeballing it all. So it's not going to be perfect. But it is going to just be the way I wanted to do it. So now that just gives us a little more, almost like an envelope. You could make an envelope this exact same way, really. So now I'm going to start putting it together. I'm going to use score tape, and the reason I chose score tape, ATG would honestly probably be quite heavy enough, but score tape just gives it that extra amount of hold to make it nice and strong. And you know, the idea to use these is to use them until they completely wear out. I believe that the lady in the original video that I watched said that she had used hers for a year or two, going back and forth on swaps, which is really kind of cool. Now I think I could use more score tape if I wanted to, but I think for now I'm going to call it good. Now this one's a little bit different than the last one I did, and I actually have a little bit too much score tape, which really isn't a problem as long as you catch it right away. You can kind of roll off that extra score tape and pull it off, but then I want to go back and really get that nice and smooth. Now you'll see that this shape has turned into this shape, and as you can see, there's plenty of room for my gift card in there. So that's kind of the fun part. Now I actually decided to do these for a swap over at artandsassy.ning.com, and I'm hosting that. If you haven't checked out Art and Sassy, be sure and head over there. Kara's done a really good job putting together a lot of different ideas, and she just has done a really good job with the site. So for this swap, there were some rules. First of all, you had to have a holder. The second rule is it had to be fastenable, but yet fastenable in a way that would be positional. So that you could use it over and over again. Now I have heard that you could use a glue dot to do this and it lasts sometimes. I haven't tried that. My original idea for mine was going to be to use Velcro, but for the life of me, I cannot find my Velcro. So I'm going to use magnets. But first I wanted to add a decorative edge. So the second rule, first was your holder. Your second rule was that it needed to be open. You could open it and close it over and over again. And then the next thing was you were supposed to include 4 different types of embellishments or ways of putting it together. And one of those could be a decorative edge. Now you could cut a cute little decorative edge. You could use anything really. You could set up a saucer on there and make a shape. You could do whatever you wanted. But I really liked the idea of using a punch. And so what I've done here is I've pulled out my Fisker's punch. And it's just a really simple, pretty punch, and one that I just kind of really like. And it goes right off the edge on that side. And I hope I did not mess up on this side, because it's only going to be held together in the middle. It may not work out so well. Well, I think it'll be okay. So let's get rid of all that. Now, so this comes down like this, and you really can't see it, but I'll fix it so you can. Okay, so that is the first step. There's my first decorative element. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to work on my magnetizing sheets. What I have done is I have these magnetic sheets that I just picked up in McDonald's, I'm so tired, at Walmart in the kids section. And it's in with all the kids crafts, and I think it's only a couple dollars, and it comes with 2 sheets. And I've used them for some other things, and I couldn't find flat magnet that I was looking for, and I couldn't find the different things I was looking for, so I decided, well, I guess I'll have to just do my own. So it's sticky on one side, so what I want to do first of all is I want to tear off the sticky back, and I want to position this right underneath, just like that. And then I want to pull off my other back. I have very short fingernails right now, and I'm going to magnet those together so that, and there is a little bit of polarity issues here. But what I want to do here is magnet it together and then close it so that when I close it, the flap comes down and it's covered. Now this is a bit of an issue because I did kind of cut this one a little bit differently than I did the one before. I actually think what I did is I did it upside down. I think I had, on the first one I did, I think I had it go in the other direction, but just kind of play with it. So there we've got that. Now I'm going to have to be really careful because that's kind of delicate right now, but I will fix that. And one thing that I forgot to pull out was another piece of paper, so I will be back. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about that. And I was able to find some paper that would work. This is some coordination paper. I can't remember the paper pack. I think it's Coordinations. I'll put on my blog, I'll put exactly which paper it is, but it's some purple paper. Now it's not exactly the same color of purple as what the inside of this is, but it's a great match to pull out some of the colors of the flowers. So I'm just going to set that aside. I've already started this. I cut one little piece and I cut it at about 3/4 of an inch wide, and I taped it. I used my ATG gun to tape over the top. Now, as long as you're using, oh, sorry, I was off camera and didn't even realize it. This is the piece that I put over 3/4 inches wide. What I've discovered is as long as the paper is thin, you want it thin enough that you don't want your heavy high quality cardstock for this, because these magnets are so thin that it won't adhere through the magnet. I tried different things before I did, and I didn't want the extra bulk of the thicker magnets. And that's why I want thin paper here, because I want it to be thin enough that the magnets will still be able to pull through it. Now this piece I cut, and I didn't even measure it. I actually just eyeballed it. And I may even trim it some more when I'm done. But I just want it thick enough to cut, and I'm going to leave just a little bit of a tail on that side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring my ATG. Now I am not too concerned if there's ATG coming through the other side, because it will eventually just kind of wear where you can't see it. But I want it to be good and strong. And even there I kind of pulled, and we'll see what we can do to, there we go, to kind of fix that, because we want it smooth, of course. If you hear my cat back there, sorry. So I'm actually going to kind of work from this direction to see where, well no, I better work from this direction. I'm going to line it up right about there, and I know again we've got ATG coming through. That's okay, because now I can just take my finger and gently just rub off that excess ATG. I do this quite a lot. Now you don't want it to sit there too long or it won't work, or it might not work. I don't know, I've never, my gut tells me it wouldn't work. So there we have that adhered down. Now I'm going to close it and see where I want to trim. And there's a couple of different things I could do here, and one of them I may try. But the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim this off right on the edge, just like that. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is get my paper trimmer and open it up. And again, I'm just going to be eyeballing where I want, how much edge I want to show, because I just want a tiniest bit of edge to show. So now we have our actual holder is all done. Now it's time to start decorating it. So here's my first element, and technically you could probably say that my second element is the decorative paper that kind of goes on there. I think one thing that I thought would be kind of fun would be to take some glitter. Let's see if I can find where my glitter is. I have this glitter from EK Success. It's a metallic glitter packet, and I want to be sure I have the excess off because I don't want glitter sticking everywhere. Although that could have some advantages too, but for now I'm thinking I don't want it on the flap, so I want to be sure I get that glitter off. And then I'm going to grab a piece of paper, I am not much of a glitter girl. I know those really clash. But I thought that since we do have a little tiny bit of extra glitter or adhesive coming through in those flourishes, that I could drop a little bit of glitter in there and it would pick up where those flourishes were. Now, if that works, then there is a second element. And I have a feeling that this one's going to have maybe a little bit more than the required elements. And not to make a mess and get it all over. So now I'm just going to knock off that excess glitter and put it back in the bottle. And yeah, it's got it a little bit picking up through. So let's get the glitter back in because I don't like glitter all over everything. That's really truly the reason I don't use much glitter, because it makes such a mess. Now this cardstock that I have here is some Recollections cardstock, and it is a bit thicker, and I don't think it would work with these magnets. I think the magnets are just too thin. If you wanted a little bit thicker magnet, I think you would be fine, but I think those magnets are too thin. Okay, so there's that part, and this is the flap that seals. So now it's just the fun part of decorating. I am not going to take the time to decorate this. I will show, there will be a still photo at the end of the video so that you can see the decoration. But in the meantime, I just want to show you the other two that are completely made and tell you what I did on those, and you can see those. So this is the other one. Let's see what I do with it. Sorry, here is one, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And here is the second one. So I've got two of them here, and they look quite different, and they really are. Let's start with this one. This one is like this one that we just made together. Just a little cute little holder. And what I did is I have these old word, they're kind of metal word things. They're from Making Memories. They're really old. And I put thanks on it. And then this is some bling from Recollection. And it's one of the kinds that have the lace on the bottom and the beads on the top. This paper is also Can Company. This is an old paper pack. It's I think it's one of the ones from Ancestry.com that I have just loved. And so it's an older one. And these are really nice and heavy. When you flip it over on the back side, this one you can actually see the element coming through a little bit better, the little swirly elements, and I kind of like that. And then I have this stamp set from Tim Holtz. It's called Odds and Ends, and it has a limited edition, and then it says created by, and the person who is going to get this could just put their write their name in there if they wanted. And this one I did not put any glitter in, but then as you open it up you see that I've got then the strips of paper which are kind of contrasting, which adds not only a decorative element, but it's a way to hide those magnets. So that is the first one that I did. Super simple, but really pretty. Then the second one I want to share. I did this with the Art Philosophy cartridge. I'm sorry, the Artiste cartridge. And I cut it at, believe it was 4 inches. I'll put that again on the blog. If you want to see exactly what size I cut it at, you can go to www.djschlendries.blogspot.com and I will have all the information. But one thing I want to show you, this is the Cricut mat, and this was the one that I played with to see which size I wanted, and this is the way that it cut. Now if you notice, if you have the old Cricut like I do, this is the way it feeds in, so it cuts actually long ways like this. And like I said, I can't remember exactly what I cut it at. I think it was 4 or 4.5 inches, and it's the R and it's the card shift, or the envelope for the card. Now this particular card, let me put this old mat away, was designed not even really to have an envelope so much as it was to have an enclosure. And it comes together like this, and then you just slide your little card in there. And it really doesn't glue down. Well, that wouldn't work for what we're making. So I modified it a bit. What I did is I took my score tape and I went along one side here and one side here and taped it down. So that would give us the shape. And again, this is another piece of Can Company paper. So when you open up the inside, you see that scallop shape. You can see here's my card, and it will fit in there just perfectly. Whoops, old sequins. It'll fit in there just fine for the postage. And then I reversed, I took some of the scraps of the paper and I reversed it so that you would have the contrast with each other. And then the magnets here, there's actually magnet under this strip, but it was kind of tricky to figure out how to put the magnet, and I didn't want tons of strips of paper. And so what I did is I took my, I think it was a 5/8 inch circle punch, and I just popped circles. So these two magnets will land on the magnet here, and these two magnets will land on the magnet here. So when you close it, it actually holds together very nicely. And I decided that I would almost use the magnets as a decorative element and just leave them dotted rather than try to cover and make it look funny. Now I could have, I suppose, cut another piece and put it all over the top, but I just chose not to. So then this, again, another one of those word bands. Here's some bling that I just cut off. I think it was from a Prima pack or something. It was just a little bit of a bling. And then another one of those flowers. These flowers are actually from Recollections. And you know, when I opened the package, and when you pull them off the package, whatever, I don't know that they were ever designed to be adhesive, because I actually find that they leave behind any adhesiveness to the package, and I actually have to glue them. So I put quite a bit of glossy accents to glue that down. Again, I have another one of the limited edition stamps, because that's going to be my tying element to all the ones that I made. So there we have the second one. So here's the two completed one, and at the end of the video I'll show you the third one. So thanks so much for stopping by today, and remember, take some time to enjoy the little things. Have a great day. Bye.